Today, as a part of the scrutiny, we will once again, as we do at all the scrutinies, after we have our intercessions, and after I have an invocation of prayer, and after laying on of hands, not in a sacramental way, but in a prayer that is followed by that, an exorcism. I bet a lot of you didn't realize that you were coming to Mass today or came last week and came for an exorcism. Now, when we hear that, especially people who are older remember a movie back in the you-know-whats, we kind of think of these very dramatic, very extreme cases, which still happens to this day. But the exorcism that we will pray over our two elect today is about their deliverance from evil. If you don't believe evil is a part of any of our lives, but especially wants to just mess things up as somebody is doing the most holiest thing they could in their lives, is moving toward the sacrament of baptism, you probably noticed that Ashley came a little bit late today, and sure enough, her car broke down, and her sponsor said, "Ooh, it's kind of running late. Should I go get her?" And I was like, "Go get her!" Because she can't go to Mass tomorrow, and she needs this prayer of exorcism as much as anybody. It happens. We all struggle with it. We all struggle with this because it's an ongoing struggle and fight against blindness. But if you will, it's kind of a different kind of sight. Because blindness, in the case of the gospel today, is a blindness in terms of seeing things, but what you really see is nothing. Things like, as a young parent, no matter what I try to do, what we try to do, I'm just not sure I'm doing this right, or I'm kind of failing at this. Or an older person who says, well, I just kind of see that maybe life sort of started passing me by now, and I'm not even sure I'm relevant to my own grandkids. Or a young person that's trying to live up to the impossible standards of appearance or performance and wondering how they'll ever be able to make it in life. Or a person just for no reason of their own because of their health difficulties or the color of their skin, just notices that there always is a little bit of a different way they're treated than others. And so that's what people see. They see the nothing going on in their life. And as if it's not enough to want to be able to see not only the effects of evil, but to see the light, it's really not enough just to be able to see. Because when the blind man is healed, they don't even recognize him. They have to ask him, "Are you the same one we saw that was blind before?" "Yes, I am he." They didn't recognize David, who was to be the greatest king of the nation of Israel, because it wasn't what they were expecting to see. We're never what people expect to see. Because perhaps one of the things that's worse than not being able to see is not being seen. And so there is this movement in the blind man. Now, he can physically see. Now, he can also begin to be seen, but there's still another vision problem. And that is, he can't recognize who Jesus is. First, he just sees him as a nice guy, and then kind of another level, a prophet. And then he's asked by the man who gave him his sight, "Do you want to believe in the Son of Man?" And he says to Jesus, right in front of him, "Who is he?" Can you imagine Jesus going, "You can see now, that's a clue." But we kind of do that too. Whether you're an elect, a baptized person for years upon decades, we're all struggling with certain forms of blindness, and perhaps the greatest blindness is to see Jesus. See all the great things that Jesus is doing in our life. See all the ways that we are a great gift to the world, the way that Jesus has helped make us as a part of the divine Trinity. To see how Jesus, when we slip into believing the nothingness and the lies of the enemy, or just give up because of being thwarted by how he doesn't want us to move closer to the Lord, how he helps us to heal, to restore again our sight. Because once we really see Jesus for who he is, and the gift of our elect, because in some ways it's the first time, it's like Jesus beginning to make again a new creation. That's why he spits into the ground and he puts that mud on the eyes to remind us of how Adam was made, the man from the dust of the earth. Because he's recreating us anew so that we can not only see who Jesus is and not only see who others are, we can also see who we have been created to be. So this scrutiny that we're going to pray in a moment is a bold prayer of inviting not only the elect to say, recognize the effects of sin and evil in your life, especially the structures of evil that can be embedded in the ways that we treat each other collectively, but also that we can see the Lord, who is the light of the world. It takes a lot of courage to pray to be healed from blindness, our spiritual blindness. I ran across a poem that expresses this challenge to what our attitude could be in the form of trying to create our own sight, if you will, trying to avoid to see things as Jesus does through the image of a tower. That's the title of this poem. There was a part of me that thought I could build myself up into the tallest tower. The views would be so immaculate, and I could see all that laid below me. Nothing else, because the ceiling would be opaque. Black, balsa, darker than the coat of a bear. There would be a moat around my tower of me, filled with orcas and hippopotami. Because if anyone ever got to the base of me, it would all topple like a domino. I fall into myself in an endless clattering, deeper than the foundation goes. I would sit at the bottom of a pit, finally able to see everyone above me. The prayer for all of us for healing of our spiritual blindness is to be able to see not only how others are as they truly are, but also to see the other one who is above us, to see Jesus. And then we can see clearly, not nothing, but all the goodness in ourselves and all around us. Because we are meant to be children of light.